Here we go. Good evening, everybody. I hope you guys are all snuggled up. We're reaching a different season in life here, or a different season. There's a reason for every season. And we just walked into June month. It's my month actually, my birthday on Saturday. I'm very grateful to be sober. Very grateful to be in recovery. Very grateful to have found recovery on the RAEL farm. I hope you guys are all okay out there as well, and everything is going fine. I tell you one thing, if when it comes to God's work being done, He's never going to stop doing it. Not for you, not for me, not for anybody. His will and His way for things to be done will continue to be done. No matter what people are going to say, no matter what people are going to do, I tell you one thing, the doors of RAEL will remain open. What happens at RAEL is beautiful. There's miracles that happen on that farm. There's miracles, there's families that are being reunited. There are more good things on RAEL than bad things. There are actually no bad things because majority of the bad things are allegations, stuff that are being made up. Now I'm just going to give 5 minutes airtime and then I'm going to give a recovery meeting because that's what I'm here for. Because I am in recovery, I'm a recovering addict. But some people can't relapse if they weren't in recovery. You know who I'm talking about. And those are the people that left the farm, the X-Men. I'm not going to mention any names or anything like that. But obviously we have seen the comments, we hear the allegations, we hear the lies being made up. Now to touch on that is, if RAEL was such a bad place for all of you, like you claim for it to be now, I don't know, because when you came there, you all came there with your tail between your legs, humiliated, broken, didn't know which way to go. You go to your own family, didn't want you, and you all ran to my store and wanted help, willing to do anything, And if it was such a bad place, the way you're making it out to be, then why did you come there in the first place? If the food was so bad the way you say it is, and I'll say it straight to the quiet chef that so-called worked there, why did you still eat from it? Why did you then be the one being in the kitchen to make the food for the people? Then I'll top it up to a further notch. If you came to RAEL for a plate of food, then you came there for the wrong reasons. Because I didn't come there for a plate of food. Food didn't keep me sober. Mr. Hall kept me sober. A recovering drunk and alcoholic that's coming up to 16 years uninterrupted sobriety. That took certain steps that you and I weren't willing to take. Never went to a rehab, went for the first 2 years of his recovery to a meeting, only missed it once because he had to go with his mother to hospital to check up on certain health things. But however I come into a center like RAEL. A wellness center is what I will call it because it's a place of spiritual healing. And I fall with my ass in the butter because I didn't have it as hard as that man did. But I tell you something, I've been to many other rehabilitations and many other places, and none of them, I don't like to ram places down. I don't like to ram, but I can tell you, none of them ran the facility or the place like it's supposed to be, like it's done at RAEL. Do you know why? Because it's been run by a recovering alcoholic.
I just want to interrupt you there,
Sorry,
Amy.
Mr.
A certain person who was on my farm came in there and ran Dave Barber down, walking with winners, because he had to get up 4 o'clock in the morning and take the weevils out the pup. So they all left there meant to be sober.
Yeah.
So they jump on a bandwagon of 2 racist thugs.
Exactly, Mr.
And that's why we have to be under this kind of stress and strain every day. These are evil people.
For sure, Mr.
Evil people. Because I remember taking some of them to Israel with a doctor on my account. I remember buying...
Oops, sorry.
Sorry, AD. I remember buying cars for some of them.
Yeah.
I remember them coming back to my rehab after they'd run away and went to go and drug, and 4 years later coming back dead. Virtually dead to my rehab. Why would they then come back?
Exactly.
But you know the big thing, AD. I have never beaten my wife up. I've never almost lost a child. I've never falsified a man's banking accounts. I have never made false pay slips. We're dealing with evil. That's all it is. Evil
sir.
of people who got too much money from me. Evil,
sir.
evil people.
And that's it straight from Mr. Hall. You know, you guys hear it there straight. I don't know why they came back. I don't know what they came to find there. But it seems the only reason they came back because something simply worked for them. So you can ram the place down, the food down, or whatever you want to do, but there you got first-hand recovery. Because if you're still sober after you've left there, irrespective of how you left there, then that means the place worked. Isn't that what we came for? Because the other 14 or 15 other rehabs or the other facilities you went to where you had to sift the weebles out of the pub, I don't know, I think the pastor don't even know your name and you've been there for over 4 months and you've been pushing so hard, doing what you had to do and you never got recognized. But that's your own thing, you know. I think it's just blatantly, despite it being evil, I just think it's very vindictive, man. I think the motive behind the whole reason as to why you wanted to have step into recovery is for some sort of power trip, some sort of control that you still want to have. And you have to hop on back into your program and see how you work in your program, because eventually, if you want to yourself open up a place to save lives, then you need to make sure, are you capable of saving your own life? Because you're not. Because I'm not as I'm sitting here. I had to surrender. I had to surrender simply. And that's what I found on the RAEL program. Because I also came there with cockiness. I was also stubborn in the beginning. I also thought I knew it all. I had every answer in the book. I knew the literature left, right, and center. I could say all the right things. But there was a difference in saying it and doing it. Like my brother Angus does his program. He doesn't speak much. But in his actions, it shows exactly what exactly he's busy doing. And what he's accomplished thus far, I'm not speaking about materialistic things. I'm talking about when a recovering addict can put his head on the pillow, or alcoholic on the pillow, knowing that he hasn't harmed anybody, caused any chaos, or broken down any damage. That's when you know that your program's working for you. Because if you're still sitting up late at night, posting messages...
If my rehab was so bad, why would those motherfuckers get married on my farm?
Exactly. So all the points are there, you know, Mr. Hall is just pointing it out to you. The place isn't bad. Mr. Hall is obviously isn't a bad person. You guys all came there and fell with your ass in the butter. You got first-hand recovery and you got extra after that. You got more than what you were supposed to get.
Sorry, why am I the godchild of the one in Mitchell's Plain?
There. The proof. Just a question. Why is Mr. Hall the godchild of the one in Mitchell's Plain then? Those are all facts, you know. Why is he the godfather of it? Why have the baptism on the farm? Why invite the whole family to the farm? Why invite your family to the farm to come and sleep there, where Mr. Hall gives up his own bed for you to go and sleep in with your child and your girlfriend or your wife, and he goes and sleep on a couch? You know what I mean? Is that really such a bad place? Is that really a bad man? Is that bad man that you're making out for him to be? Or was it only because you just want to see where you want to get your next benefit? Because I think it was so. You know? I think it's so. I think it was just about the benefit. What you can get more out of this person. And that's what all of you did, man. And I'm glad I never came there for that reason. That's why I'm still sitting here sober today. Yes, I was one of the people that also left. Yes, I went out and I spoke bad about Mr. Hall to my mother. But I came back also, man. But I didn't do what's happening here. I didn't join up and link up and a whole Facebook trip and be a fail gut and steal and take from people and put personal things on Facebook, disrupt a man's business, disrupt his personal life, attack his doctor girlfriend, attack his children, contact his children. It's sick, man. I don't know what you call that, but that is not recovery. I don't know where you've been taught that, but that is not recovery. Then you need to go back and drug. Because the behavior is still there. Hey? All the money that was given to you, on top of the salary that you got, and a fraudulent payslip that you're making to open up things. It's sick, man. Then you want to sit in the evening and give meetings to people. You're playing with people's lives. And I promise you it comes 7 times back to you. I'm not sitting here a saint. I'm not perfect also. But I don't play games when it comes to my recovery, man. Because I know what is at stake. I won't put my family's life in jeopardy also. But this whole thing, this whole attack, has not only attacked me personally, but my family also. Hey? Contacting the mother of my child, contacting my mother, contacting Angus's mother, contacting the guys in the program who came there for healing that's trying to get their life right, their families also, to say what a bad place RAEL is, but you got your recovery there, you worked there, why is it now such a bad place?
Doctor treating them for syphilis.
So that's just all I'm going to say, just a couple of airtime for you, because I'm not going to give you, I don't want to give you too much attention, it just makes me angry and upset, man. I came here actually to give a meeting, a recovery meeting. Now, for those that left, you don't know what to do with yourself, that's why you're causing this and you formed alliances and whatever. But every addict asks himself one question or the same question: what will I do now after I've stopped? What do you do now after you stop using drugs? You get some that formed alliances, that are still trying to break down RAEL, bomb RAEL, pull down the sign. I don't know what else they're trying to do, ram a man down. That's the decision they made now that they stopped using drugs. They like the chaos, they like the behavior, they enjoy it. They don't care if it's at stake and putting their family's life at stake. They still go on and do it.
You know what they like? A month before they left, after I paid the salary of a certain person, when they moved from Borisov, they asked me to pay the electricity bill in Borisov for the house they were leaving. That's what they like.
Exactly, and you still have that proof also. So it's all about getting more. So what will you do now that you've stopped using drugs? And that's a question some of the guys asked on the program when they're in the farm as well. What do I do now, What's next? What's the next big thing? You stop for a couple of months, you're still in early recovery. What happens now? We don't know how to enjoy our lives without the use of any drugs or alcohol. And that's why when we put that down, we have to get rid of the thinking and the behavior. The stinking thinking. Stinking thinking to steal from the man that's been good to you.
What man in recovery makes false payslip, breaks into my computer and takes my bank things and puts it onto the internet?
Exactly,
After I saved his life.
Exactly. That's the point. If that was a man that was in recovery, then I don't know what recovery that is. I don't know what program that is that he was working. And then at the same time, after he's been doing all this, still sit in a meeting and give meetings to people. That's where the veg fund came was. I know what happened there. And then this is how much more sick it goes. Yeah, I'm smart tripping now. Take the guys in the programs, tax shop money. Not the farms, not Mr. Walls. Tax shop money, puts it in my mother's gift bag, give the gift to my mother, and plant it on me as if I stole it. Or with the intention for me to take that money to go and relapse or not to come back to the farm. And then still tell me, look here, Mr. Hall decided that he's going to fire you and don't come back to the farm. He fired you the first time, he's planning on doing it again and put you off the farm so you can walk off. Irrespective of whether that's true or not, I don't care. It's not going to stop me from being in recovery. It's not going to stop me from going back to that place. That place has been good to me and so has Mr. Hall. Anything you can throw my way, that's what recovery's taught me, man. Anything that comes my way, I take the stand for it like a man. I don't run away and be a coward. I'd rather stand like a man, take the punch, than to be like a wussy, to break down, to steal, and cause more chaos in people's lives. No. Nobody forced me to do my drugs and my alcohol. So one symptom of addiction is that we cannot imagine a lifetime without drugs. And that's a scary part for us in when we step in early recovery as well. We couldn't picture ourselves enjoying life without the use of drugs and alcohol. When we say a lifetime, or when we say this is a program that's going to be practiced each and every day, it strikes fear into some of the people because they ask themselves that question, so does that mean I can never have a drink again? Does that mean I can never be around people that are drinking? Does that mean I can't go to clubs anymore? Does that mean I cannot be in a bar? What about having a non-alcoholic beer? Well, non-alcoholic beers is for non-alcoholics. And I'm sitting here this evening, I'm not a non-alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic, a recovering alcoholic, and a drug addict. So I wouldn't put myself in jeopardy to put myself in a situation where I know I'll relapse. I wouldn't surround myself or be in an environment because begies, lam with begies, doctors with doctors, recovering addicts with recovering addicts, and vuilgatte with vuilgatte. Straight like it is. So that's why we work at Just for Today program. And when we learn to develop, to keep it simple, it only happens after a long period of time of practice. It's not a thing that wakes up just like that. It's not a light bulb moment and boom. It's because when you step onto the RAEL farm, the RAEL program challenges you mentally, physically, and emotionally, not to break you down, but to build you up with life skills that you can go out to live a better life. So now, if RAEL was such a bad place, why would it be recognized all over the world as well? You know what I mean? The owner of the rehabilitation, Mr. Anthony David Hall, till this day does get invited to go and do talks, like we went to go and do now recently, like when we were in a certain place and spoke to a bunch of gentlemen, black gentlemen, African gentlemen, yes, that had the utmost respect for Mr. Hall in the uniform, and we had a motivational talk with them, and it sparked and made a difference in their life. I don't see you being invited. You know why? Because you go out and steal and rob men. So now we only do it for Just for Today, but many of us cannot fathom getting through even a whole day without a routine associated with using. And that's what our life became around. Ways and means to find more. Love to use and use to live. What about live to steal and steal to live? Because the behavior can still be there, like I said. Drugs and alcohol is the easy part for putting down. And once you allow yourself to open up to that type of behavior, it just spirals out of control. So what you think you have in control, you have nothing. What you think you know nothing. And then you start just taking more and more because you're trying to fill up this empty void inside with you. And maybe for that temporary amount of time you get some sort of kick out of it, but it doesn't last forever. Because I guarantee you that is doing that, when you put your head on the pillow, you toss and turn at night. I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I'm that type of person. I couldn't live with myself or bear myself when I was in active addiction. I didn't like looking in the mirror. I didn't like facing people. I didn't like what I had become. The best way not to become bored is to get active. Now, how do we get active is the question. So now, RAEL, the bad place that you are saying it to be, despite the literature part of the program, despite the one-on-ones that you have with our spiritual heads, which is the pastors, Reverend Kearney Malgas, and obviously Pastor Katrina that comes there, that does the Alpha course with the guys, the one-on-one sessions, our morning devotions that we have, obviously every morning that takes place, the quiet time as well. Despite the one-on-one sessions that you would have with Mr. Hall, Angus, or myself, or Lincoln, that does the recovery, despite the topic meetings that will be discussed, the life stories, the step 10 that is written every day in the evening, there is a practical side to the program. And that practical side comes to work that is being done. I don't call it work, I call it some sort of active thing. Because remember, when we were using drugs or when we were dry, we were very lazy. We couldn't do things for ourselves. We let other people do it for us. But when we come onto the farm, we learn that discipline, that routine, that respect, folding up your clothes, that making up your bed part, that doing your washing part, your personal hygiene, cutting your nails, brushing your teeth every day, washing your face, and getting dressed and getting into the active side of the program where you can find yourself If you have a passion for growing fruit or vegetables, you find yourself in the tunnels. If you have a passion for doing a bit of hard labor work, which I don't call it hard labor because that's what people call it. If you have a passion for landscaping type of work, you do that there as well. If you have a passion for cleaning, there's cleaning chores as well. If you have a passion for working in the workshop with woodwork, or when it comes to mechanical work as well, that is there as well. Plumber's work is there as well. When it comes to as well the woodwork I already mentioned, and then obviously when it comes to the maintenance work that's on the farm, that's also there as well. So you step out of self and you start getting active into those type of things. Now in the beginning it's a bit tough because obviously you're still detoxing from drugs. You've got a bit of a tiff. There's a battle inside of you, that feeling versus doing type of thing. And you don't want to find yourself getting active. And because of that spirit of rebellion that's automatically in us, that rebellious behavior, when somebody asks you to do something, because we don't tell, we ask. There's a difference between the two. We ask you, but we don't beg you to save your life. You have to want this out of your own as well. And we give you suggested guidelines that you have to follow. And eventually, when it becomes a routine, you will see at some point or a certain stage in your recovery, like what happened with me, I couldn't stop being active. That Mr. Hall had to tell me, okay, Eddie, look here, it's now shower time, you have to go and shower. No, Mr. Hall, I wanna still do this. I think I want to toss the compost, or I need to be in the workshop. There's something I need to build there, sir. And if you're enjoying it and Mr. Hall see that you have a passion for it, he allows you to do it. Because every active, positive action in recovery is that small, that they call it in the basic text, if anything that you're doing that's positive in your life, for that moment in time, if that can keep you away from the drug or the alcohol, then something is working for you. So you take it one day at a time, one step at a time. If one day is too long, break it down to 1 minute. Because some people can't even last a minute without lying or stealing. So now, if there's more than one daily meeting in your area to attend, or more than one meeting that's outside, now we already see what's going on the outside. It's difficult for some recovering addicts when they leave the RAEL farm to find NA meetings that are, or AA meetings that are positive, or some spiritual meeting, because meetings keep you sober, but one meeting a week is weak. One meeting a week is weak. And constantly, with the time that I personally am off the farm, I still write my step 10 in the evening. Myself and Angus and Mr. Hall, we still have our morning devotions every morning. We still take it, our inventory, and we share it with one another. We still learn to have, because of what we are being taught on the farm, taught by the man that has uninterrupted of 16 years sobriety. I want what he has, man. Because with everything that's going on, you know what I take my hat off for? This man never picked up on a bottle. And he's an arm length away from it. You tell me, man, would you be able to last so long with everything that's going on without using? I don't think I would. I would have cracked. With everything that is going on. There are some things that are going on in his life that he doesn't share with us, even though we're so close with him. Doesn't matter how close you. There are just some things in a man's life that is just between you and God. That's it. And that's what I see this man going through. Every single day. But he always has a smile on his face. He still goes out and be of service. He still goes and gives positive and motivational talks. He still carries the message to the still suffering addict. He still sees to the farm and makes sure it's being run properly. Properly by the right people. Not some people that claim that they've worked there and been there so long, saying that they're going to do this, procrastinating the whole time and it's not getting done. So becoming active is a very important part once you put down the drug and the alcohol. At first, some may not want to join any group discussions or meeting. Those who do not wish to share are allowed to pass on, or there is no disgrace in talking about what we have to say. We will often be told the newcomer is the most important person in the room. Such recognition is never boring to an addict who needs love and attention. And that is why the doors of RAEL will remain open. Because every time a newcomer steps in there, it reminds us where we come from. It doesn't remind us of where we come from in the good times about the using and the drugs. It reminds us of how broken we were once upon a time when we came in there. And that's why addiction does not discriminate. It doesn't ask you what age you are, what color your skin is, what area you come from, who you are, where you're from, what work you've done. It will take you and your family down to the ground if you allow it to. The other part of becoming active after you've stepped out of, using drugs and you're in a wellness center such as RAEL, for a certain part of time after you've reached a certain milestone in your recovery, you start going through the literature, which there is a library on the farm as well. And when that happens and you see that the more you're doing your own step work, the more you attend the meetings and listening meetings and write down and do your life story as well, something happens inside of you where a spiritual awakening happens. Now you got a testimony to carry. And when that happens, becoming active is not only the work side as well. Becoming active is also part of giving back when it comes to giving a meeting. And you will find some people sharing a meeting, like the live shares that are being done on the RAEL Live Recovery Stories. Because maybe something I say this evening might not make sense to the next person. But if the next person comes and share, there's something that he will say in his story that makes sense to the next person, and it will make a difference in that person's life. That's why they always say you shouldn't be afraid to open up also. But also, if you need to be sure that when you do open up or share things, that you are working a program, that you have a sponsor, that you are doing step work, that you are spending time in your literature. Not share and give meetings when you're stealing, when you're lying, when you're breaking down, when you're calling RAEL such a bad place. Because becoming active in that side of way after you've left a facility such as RAEL or wellness center and you're still doing those things, then nothing has changed. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. What are you still holding on to? Mr. Hall is not the reason why you guys went out and went and do that. This man can't take the blame for everything, man. Myself and Angus are in every day with him. And what do you think? It's for the benefit? That's the last thing I want. I want what this man has, and that's the sobriety. Because he has that direct access with that peace and that serenity that he walks with. If anything happens to his family or his loved ones or his mother, he can be there for them. Sober. Sober. Not about money, not about food, because some people come to the rehab that they say there and put a post on. Now let me speak about Tim, my brother. I love you. I'm very proud of you of what you're busy doing. And exactly why I'm bringing this meeting is because you have learned to become active with what you have found in yourself on the farm that Mr. Hall pointed out to you. Not the ex-manager that was there, that is trying to be your friend. Because the last time I checked, he wanted me to relapse. That's not what you call a friend. You don't plant money on people. Buttering up Angus, buttering up Mr. Hall, everybody telling them what they want to hear while he's busy stealing on the backside. And Judas Keys, ultimate. So now, tell my brother, let me hop onto that, man. Proud of what you're busy doing. And how you're going back into your community and giving back. So is RAEL really such a bad place if something worked for that man's life? Hey? RAEL is not that a bad place. He didn't come there for pop. Pop doesn't keep you sober. Ultimate pop king. Because some people post, that's a sick thing. You need to go look what program you're working. If you're posting there on that mad page, that they used to make like $5 a pop, and it's just about the food. That's so bad. If food was gonna keep me sober, I wouldn't have come to RAEL in the first place. If food was gonna keep me sober, I wouldn't have come to RAEL in the first place. Then I would have just stayed at home and eat food there and stay sober. But surely something didn't work. Surely something didn't obviously work there. Sorry, this phone is making me trippy, yeah? Okay. So, that's what happens, for me personally, why I am still on the farm is not because I didn't plan to stay there. The first time I came to RAEL, I wanted to only stay 1 month and leave because I thought it was a quick fix. I know all the literature, I know it all. And then obviously sitting down with Mr. Hall and him nurturing me and molding me into the man that I've become, with obviously the help of God, he pointed out something very clear to me and he said, nothing at home is going to change. And in this short amount of time, if you compare how long you've been using drugs to the amount of time that you've been clean, how many times haven't you tried it that way and it never worked for you? So if people ask me what has changed, my thinking, my behavior, and obviously what I've decided for my life personally and my purpose that I found in my life that I'm being obedient to. And thank God I found that on the RAEL farm. Because who knows, I don't think I have another recovery in me if I should relapse or pick up now. And I don't have to relapse on drugs or alcohol. I can relapse on stealing, lying, beating up people, beating up my girlfriend, stuff like that, man. I don't want to live life like that. You're not happy at all. You don't find any peace and serenity in that. So Tim, my brother, I salute you for what you are doing, my boot. It just shows that something has worked for you and it's keeping you sober and you found a passion for it and it makes a positive impact in people's lives. That's what you have to find out for yourself in your recovery. What skill or what talent or what gift has God given you that you go out there and be of service to give back? And it can be anything. But you have to find that out for yourself. Because you're never going to know unless you try what is being suggested on the farm. Come and visit for yourself. Some people that are ramming down the farm first came there, like I can't mention his name, from Port Alfred, that came there and said this is such a beautiful place, it's amazing to see how the guys are growing, and I'm glad my son is here. He's been to so many other facilities and places and I've never seen a change in him like it is now, so something is simply working. And then so much just like that the change. So you guys have to figure that part out for yourself. I'm getting tired of these attacks. I never came to RAEL farm for these type of attacks. I came there for my recovery. But if that is at the cost of breaking down the home that I live in, it's not my house. RAEL is my home. I found family there. I found a place where I belong. And I'm happy and at peace there. So stop asking me to leave Mr. Hall. Stop offering money to leave Mr. Hall. Stop telling me to change or turn on the man. It's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. I don't care who or what you are or what you offer me. You cannot put a price on a man's life. I'm not gonna play with my life like that, and neither is Angus also. We're getting random phone calls and messages from people. And then also with what I had to go and do this morning with opening up cases against people because of what I've been called. But still this evening I can sit here and give a meeting because I'm not ashamed, man. I know my boss. I know I've done a lot of bad things. But I've been washed clean, man. Thank God I found this program. Thank God I found RAEL. And thank God that spiritual awakening happened in me to be here this evening to give back to family and to good people. And I'm happy with that, man. I don't have a lot of money in my bank account. I don't have a car. I don't have my own house and all these materialistic things that people think fulfill your life. But I found God, man, on the farm. I found meaning to my life. It's not about a girlfriend. Because my son is very important to me as well. But the only reason I'm there present for my son is as long as I'm in a sobriety program and not a program of insanity. That's why I can spend my birthday on Saturday sober with him. And I will be with my boy. I spoke to him early on. It was lekker to talk to him. He's excited to see me. That's why I can buy him a present on my birthday, because that's what I promised him. That's the greatest gift ever for me that I can do for my boy. That is what sobriety has given me. That's one of the rewards of sobriety, finding that freedom. That freedom is what we are fighting for. 3 things we fight for: to be happy, joyous, and free. Freedom. I didn't have to go to Paulsmoor or to Helderstrom or Brandvlei prison to be in a prison. I was already trapped in prison of addiction. And I didn't know the way out until I found a man like Mr. Hall. And I begged him please to help me. And he jumped in the pit with me. And he told me that he knows the way out. He knows the way out. Thank God I found that way as well. And thank God he still goes out there and help other people. So, you can must say, what about RAEL? And you can break it down as much as you want to. But I've become active in a positive way in my recovery. And RAEL has given that to me. And for that, there's no amount of money I could ever pay back. Because you can't put a price on a man's life. And I'm grateful for that. I'm actually just hurt in a way and disappointed, that you still get evil people out there. People that know what that came from nothing, man, that was broken also themselves, and that can carry on the way they are now. I don't know, but that's their journey and their walk that they have to answer to in God when judgment day comes. As long as I know that I'm trying my best and doing my best in my recovery, giving back as much as I can, taking responsibility for when I'm wrong, and not running away and making up excuses as to why this is so and why this is like that. Yeah, every day is not always a happy-go-lucky day. There are days that obviously my sponsor, Mr. Hall, and Angus puts me in the school. But those are good days still. Those are good things happening around us. It keeps us in line, that thin line that we have to be in. Because apathy and complacency is the 2 biggest enemies in our recovery. It's our common denominator in our recovery. And once that takes hold of you, that's when you start getting lazy and you start thinking and thoughts like, why can't I go to a party again? Can I have a drink? Can I maybe spend time? Just one. And people try to convince you that you're not an addict. But I know what I am. Maybe they are not addicts. They go home, they go on with their lives. But the moment I pick up, I don't know when to stop. Because I will still continue to celebrate New Year's in the month of August. That's me. So RAEL has definitely worked for me. And it's worked for many other people as well. I can mention them every name. But I won't, man. I came here this evening to give a recovery meeting and to carry the message of hope. And if you have not found that yet in your life, and even to the guys on the farm also, if you're not feeling that way, just trust God and hold on to the process that you have to go through. It's part of the healing. Eventually the penny will drop. Eventually the penny will drop. But if you walk away 5 minutes before the miracle, giving up and throwing in the towel, you're going to walk away knowing that you haven't put in your best effort. Give yourself a chance and give yourself time. Because that's all it needs to take is just time. So yeah, that's all I want to share this evening with you guys. Obviously stuff has been put in place and we're going to continue to defend the RAEL name. Mr. Hall is going to continue doing what he has to do. But we're not going to allow you guys just to say what you want and break us down also at the same time. And obviously for us, if we weren't in the recovery, like some people aren't, don't you think we would have gone and contacted and made the same allegations that these people are? Don't you think we would have been stealing, breaking in, beating up our wives? You know what I mean? We don't do stuff like that. Because we know what is at stake. We take our sobriety very seriously. So I'm grateful to be sober this evening and to sharing and to carry this message of hope to you guys. Become active while you're in recovery. Not active in a way to break down. but active in a way to build up. Because don't forget where you come from. You, once upon a time, were also broken. And a lot of people put some time and effort, especially from the help of God, to try and pull yourself back up. And when you found yourself on your feet again, don't forget people that were good to you. Because when you fall one day, I don't wish it upon anybody, but when you fall one day, you might need that person again. You might meet that person again. So my name is Adrian, I'm a recovering addict. I'm grateful to be sober, to be sharing this message. Don't forget to tune in and watch us, and continue to follow us on the RAEL page, on the Safa page as well. Mr. Hall's sobriety date is on the 28th of June as well. He's celebrating his 16 year sobriety. And let's come together and join and fellowship. And just spread the hope and the happiness around, and forget this evil attacks and vile attitude and vindictive behavior. I have no time for it. I don't give it any attention. But it can irritate you here and there. But you know what? There's more at stake for us. There's more things that need our time, our energy, and our effort than to spend time in those vile things. I'd rather spend that time with God. Thank you. God bless.